Hello,
Hi,
hello. Hi, Cody.
Hi, Cody Rigsby.
Chelsea, be very honest. Like, do you have any idea who I am?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do Peloton all the time.
Oh, you do?
I appreciate the question, though. You're not wrong to ask that.
And I would have not been offended. I adore you. I used to watch your show in college with my boyfriend, and I've read your book, and I love that you're an advocate for not having kids, although I have turned the corner on that. I think I might want them, but I'm not sure.
Are you pregnant?
I will be in a few days.
Oh, wow. That's very premonitionary. Premonitionary.
Oh, that's a good word.
Yeah, that really flew right out of my mouth. That is unexpected.
Is it a real word?
And it flew
That
right
is.
out of my mouth.
Premonitionary means like my friend has premonitionary dreams. She dreams about some things and then they happen.
That's exciting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
No, I just know that I'm gonna fuck someone this weekend. So,
But you can't get pregnant in the tushy, Cody. I talk about this.
you know, modern medicine. You never know.
I feel like we're around the corner from men being able to carry a baby. I know we've had a couple of male people
Yes.
carry babies
Yes.
that had transitioned and kept transitioned from female to men, and then they were able to carry a baby because they still had their what do you need to carry a baby? A uterus?
Uterus, yeah.
Something like that.
But I feel like men are going to become obsolete if they don't come up with something. You know, like straight
Fair.
men. Straight men.
Yeah,
Obviously, gay men are fine, you know, in my
Yeah, we're
view.
fine.
But
We're fine.
straight men are going to have to bring more to the table
Yeah.
because people are getting pregnant with or without them. You know, there are animals
Sure
that
are.
parthenogenesis. We've talked about this, where you can get pregnant. It happened to an anaconda. She got pregnant
Okay.
without a male.
Really?
It happened to a condor, a bird. Yeah.
What?
It's happened to like a lot of, not a lot, but it's definitely happened. And it happened twice in zoos. So they had no exposure to the male species and they were able to just fertilize their own eggs.
Jurassic Park, here we
Work.
come.
Yeah. Haven't I talked to you about this?
No.
Oh, okay. So
Men found
my friend,
useless.
my friend Emily told me about this a long time ago because I was doing it in my stand-up, and then nobody really seemed to understand what the fuck I was talking about. So then I just started researching it more. But yes, you can, like, we are 1,000 years evolutionarily behind animals. So if animals are procreating without the help of sperm, there is a chance in the next 1,000 years that the human species might be there, especially if straight white men keep acting like this.
I love this.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, fair.
anyway, back to your pregnancy. Congratulations in a few days, I guess.
Yeah.
How does it feel, Cody, to become like a well-known person as an exercise instructor first and foremost? Like you couldn't have planned that, right?
No, I did not plan that at all. You know, I've been working at Peloton for 10 years now, and I just thought it was going to be a side gig because I was tired of being a cater waiter and working late nights at a fucking nightclub. And it's absolutely changed my life, and I'm so glad that I get to like help people be their best self while being a little silly gay boy on a bike.
Yeah. I mean, you really do have a different spin on the class, no pun intended.
Pun intended.
You do like have great energy, great vibes. You make the classes fun. I know people talk about you and how much they love taking your class. So good for you. That's fucking awesome.
Thanks, babe. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, you know, when I get into maybe my politician era, maybe when I run for Senate, like it will
In
definitely
Texas,
be on my campaign
you should run in
speech.
Texas first.
I think I should, you know, that should be my goal. I'll just be, I think they called that a carpetbagger. Is that what they called it back in the day?
Carpetbagger, but if you go from the north to the south.
Yeah, maybe so.
I think.
I know JD Vance is a carpetbagger, according to all the Appalachians.
Let's look up carpetbagger, you guys. We need to get to the bottom of this. Do you have
Oh,
access?
okay. It is a person from the northern states who went to the South after the Civil War to profit from the Reconstruction. So, a political
So that's
candidate
even
seeks
worse than what
selection
we
area
thought.
where they have
Yeah.
no local
But it's a double
connections.
whammy because they went to go profit from Reconstruction. So they were like,
Yeah.
oh, I see. So it's not that bad. It's bad on one level. Okay, got it. I was right, I
so
think.
when I go on my
Senate-
stump speech,
your
I'm definitely going to be
senatorial
like, what? Only in America could a cycling instructor make it into the pop culture zeitgeist and be successful? And I'm
and then
grateful for
become a senator in Texas. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel this
Yeah.
trajectory
Yeah.
for you
you so
passionately
much.
all of a sudden.
that. Yeah, someone's got to take out Ted Cruz one of these days.
God willing. When the hell is that going to happen?
I don't. Unfortunately,
Question
not
for you,
anytime
Cody.
soon.
You grew up in the South, right? North Carolina?
Yeah, so I was born in Los Angeles. I moved to North Carolina when I was 8, and I lived
By yourself?
Yep, just me. I got in a car and drove through. Now me and my mom and like our 3 cats and 2 dogs and a beat up Chrysler just packed it across the country and headed to North Carolina.
And how was that transition?
I definitely cried when we arrived there. There was no sidewalks where I could rollerblade, and then
I love rollerblading.
Tons of homophobia and racism that's in the South didn't settle well with my soul. So it was for an interesting upbringing.
Yeah, I bet that wasn't a nice transition. It's not fun to go to the South once you've been exposed to the North.
No, well, in all honesty, though, because I was in Los Angeles, I like looking back in retrospect, I am grateful that I grew up in North Carolina. I think it's a simpler sort of life. Besides the homophobia and the racism, I think if I'd landed in LA, stayed in LA, maybe things wouldn't have been great.
Yeah, I feel like the homophobia and racism is just different in different areas. Like, I feel like it is very pervasive, but it's not allowed to show its like face, in certain parts of the country, even though it still exists, just like misogyny and, all of the stuff kind of exists everywhere. But I once heard someone say like, everyone thinks the South is so racist, but this like, Southern people are able to like cohabitate and live next to people that are different from them without having it be a big deal. Whereas in the northern cities, we do self-segregate. Like if you come to LA, you see that it's so segregated, right? There's like Koreatown, there's Chinatown.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of lives in their part of the thing, which isn't exactly what we're aiming for either. But anyway, Cody, back to you.
Yes.
I hear that you have a long-term relationship, right?
No.
Oh.
Well, I did, but that ended about 4 months ago.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could bring that up then.
You know what? I'm in such a good place with it.
Oh.
It was a 6-year relationship. We broke up once before for like 6 months. And I think that really affected the way that the second breakup happened. And I had a really hard first month with it. And then I accepted it and I've been living my life.
Well, wait, can I ask you about that though? Like, tell me how you think the first 6-month breakup impacted the second breakup.
That's a great question. I think in the first breakup, I was taking a lot of responsibility for like my wrongdoing. And so I just felt like I needed another chance to like give it a go and I could fix it and do all these things. And I think upon having another 1.5 years together where I was able to like go to couples therapy and do all the things and it still wasn't working, I think I landed in this space of just us not being able to meet our needs. And as much as that hurts and as much as like I didn't make the decision, it was the best decision. I also really dove into the book Attached, which like goes into attachment styles within relationships.
Yes, I've read that book. That's a good book.
It's a great book. And like I'm anxiously attached. He's avoidant. And that's just like water and oil. And like it's possible, but it's just going to bring up a lot of confrontation.
Yeah. I wonder if it's ever possible to change your attachment style.
It is. So half of the population is secure, and then one fourth is avoidant, 1/4 is anxious, and the goal is to put into practice self-awareness and things in your life that you then become securely attached.
Okay, because that's interesting. Because I remember being in a relationship where I was very anxious and very, very anxious, not avoidant, anxious. And now, I'm definitely not anxious anymore. Like with any relationship, I'm just secure because I've done the therapy and gotten to understand myself in a much better way, which feels a lot better. There's nothing worse than feeling the preoccupation of anxiety about a relationship, checking your phone, wondering if they're going to show up when they say they're going to show up, and having all those kind of negative thought cycles around a relationship.
And yeah, you are secure because you know yourself, you know your boundaries, you know your worth. And when those things aren't being met, you know how to be like, hey, this isn't for me.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And there's really not a lot of like gray area anymore for me. It's like, I don't care if something works out or it doesn't. I'm not invested that much into anything. Even if I were to fall in love with someone, I would just be like, I can't imagine getting so preoccupied at this stage in my life with like a lover. So that feels a lot healthier too and very mature. And I've never felt mature until I was in my 40s.
I aspire to be you in that situation.
So you have a new podcast coming out. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, no, me and my friend Andrew Chappelle have launched Tactful Pettiness. We actually we just recorded an episode today. It's been out since June. So if anybody wants to listen to Tactful Pettiness, get it where your podcasts are gotten.
What platform are you guys on?
On Apple and Spotify.
Okay, great. Yeah. So what do you guys give advice on the podcast, yeah?
Yeah, we kind of go through like, cultural moments, anything that's topical. And then we try to focus on like a relationship topic. Like today was like fighting. We also did travel last week, which was a lot of fun. And we take like listeners' questions, dish out advice like only two opinionated homosexuals can.
That's nice. That's nice. And your partner on the podcast, what's his name?
Andrew Chappelle, who is an actor, Broadway actor, TV actor. And
okay.
One of the funniest people I know.
One of the funniest people you know?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Can go round to round with me.
How did you guys hook up?
Just being gay in New York City, we've known each other for probably a decade at this point, like a friend of a friend, and going out on Fire Island. And, our friendship is kind of interesting because he was one of those people that I didn't like at first, like where you kind of give a little side eye and you're like, I don't like this bitch. And those usually are the foundations for great friendships, because once you get past that little initial bitchiness, and then you see that you have so much in common, it's like, oh, I don't know why I thought you were so horrible, because you're awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that. I always have stronger relationships with people who give me it's where it's a kind of slow burn. I think the idea of making a great first impression, I don't buy that. Like I don't think that matters as much, I don't think first of all, people aren't who they are when you first meet them, usually. Everyone's kind of, being on their best behavior or trying to show off or trying to be. I have a problem where people try to be funny around me all the time. And I find that extremely annoying. You know what I mean? Like when I'm in an airport or someone's on a plane next to me, they'll lean over and be like, and I'm like, no, it's not like that.
I'm good.
Like, I don't need you to entertain me. Or they'll have conversations that they know I'm in earshot of, saying things they know that that I'm in accordance with or agreement with. I also find that exhausting. I wish people would just be normal. You know what I mean?
But can I ask
like, you don't have to make me laugh. Just talk to me.
But whenever you're hanging out with, and I'll tell you the reason I'm thinking this. Like, whenever you hang out with like comedians or people that are in your field, do you feel like they're spitballing and trying to make you laugh or trying to like get in with it? Does that make sense?
I mean, my friend brought it up the other day. She goes, it's really annoying being around you and a bunch of other comics because everyone's just trying to be so funny. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I would imagine that would be annoying without being a comedian. But I also don't pick up on that. You know what I mean? Because that's natural. Yeah. They're comedians. But when regular people try to be funny, sometimes it's very painful, It's like, oh, God.
I only say that because as a dancer, I did SNL twice. And I remember being on the set and I was just like, oh, my God, these guys, like, especially the guys, they were just like constantly trying to outdo each other with the funniness. Exhausting. And I was like, guys, enough. Like, I'm just a little dancer extra, but like, enough.
That's fun that you were on you were on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, Dancing with the Stars as well.
How was that experience?
I'm so grateful that I did it, but it was honestly one of the most challenging and like things I've ever done, and one of the things that beat me down so much physically and mentally and emotionally. But I'm so glad that I did it, and it was so good for my career. And they couldn't pay me enough money to do it again. But why
did it beat you down emotionally so much?
Okay, so a lot of my fame or notoriety came through the pandemic, and I was kind of encapsulated in this like digital space and not really being on my own in that. And so then to go from internet famous to kind of TV famous, and now have a lot of opinions about you put out there, a lot of, negative stuff, positive stuff. It was really hard to absorb. I'm pretty much someone who like is pretty strong and confident about themselves. But after doing the show for 2 months, you have no days off, you're exhausted, you're tired. And just like seeing a negative comment like would take me down. Also, I think with any reality TV show, there's things in play that are supposed to kind of fuck with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
And I wasn't ready for all that. Like I commend my partner Cheryl Burke, who's done that show for like 30 seasons.
Oh, I know Cheryl. Yeah.
The emotional ups and downs of that for 30 years. Ain't no way.
Seriously. Because then she's having to, all of those regular people are having to deal with their guests that they have on for the season and watching them go through their emotional turmoil, right? So they become like counselors.
Exactly.
With Peloton, do they ever give you, isn't there like a chat room or chat board? Do they give you feedback on Peloton?
Do you mean like members at home, or are you talking about like my boss?
Like members at home. Is that a feature?
Yeah, no, it's not a feature. There's a leaderboard so you can like compete.
Right.
But there is a very
so you never got that kind of stuff.
Like there is a very rambunctious Facebook group of Peloton members where they will spew and like say all the things that they need to. But I deleted my Facebook like probably 3 years ago, so I'm very far removed from
unless
it.
you're a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I think I deleted it close to like the 2020 election. I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. It's just people posting headlines about fucking politics.
I
and
can't.
I'm out. I'm out.
I know. I hear you. And do you ever commingle with not commingle? Do you ever mingle with any of the other Peloton instructors?
Yeah. I actually had like brunch on Sunday with 2 of my colleagues. And,
oh, that's fun.
I mean, it's a very unique job, and only we know what it feels like to be on the platform and to be teaching fitness in this capacity. And I have a lot of fun with them and a lot of respect for them. And
it's also not something. It's so funny because it's such a great career that you would have never been able to imagine as a child because this job didn't exist as a child.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I never thought that this is how my life was going to play out. I've always had like this idea of being, I guess, famous or being a personality. And I think I tried to channel that through musical theater and then dance. And then it's so crazy that life put me in the right place at the right time for Peloton. And it was like literally the perfect job for me. Like perfect.
Oh, I love that. What a nice success story.
Yeah, no, I look back on it, I'm just like super grateful, especially because I grew up so fucking poor, and to now have the world as my oyster is fantastic.
Did you run a marathon recently or do an Ironman?
Abso-fucking-lutely not. You will not catch me doing that. Okay,
because my friend Ange from Whistler ran, and I couldn't remember if it was you or one of the other guys, and she was like, I saw so-and-so from Peloton, and I was like, that must be so. She's like, I ran right up to him. I couldn't believe it was him in person. I'm like, that sounds so annoying, Ange. Just like stop. Don't approach them. I'm glad it wasn't you, although it would have been funny if it were.
The way that you feel about children is the way I feel about marathons. I don't need to do it. It's going to do
nothing
for me.
I'm glad it's happening, and keep it over there.
So happy it's happening over there. And like this was the first year of 15 years of living in New York City that I went to the marathon and cheered people on, and it was so cute. I love that. That was my perfect introduction to it. But you will not catch me running 23.6 miles, I think
it's 26.2 miles, right?
Yeah. Oh, 26.2.
I have no desire. I'm with you. I am not trying to prove anything to anyone, but really myself. Like I wouldn't run a half marathon. I mean, if it was for a charity, I would just pay for someone else to do it. You know what I mean?
Here's the donation.
I can't be bothered with that kind of chicanery. It's too much.
No.
Also, you want to keep your knees, you know?
Yeah, and I've tackled enough emotional trauma from my past to feel like I've accomplished something, you know?
I hear you. Okay, we're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back with Cody Rigsby. Back with Cody Rigsby. We're going to give advice, Cody. You're good at this, right? I feel like you could be good and motivational.
Yeah, I mean, I love to give hard truths the hard way.
That's what we're all about here.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have good friends that are telling them honesty.
I know. That's what we're here for. Mm-hmm. The people don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I know from my own set of friends that most people don't tell you the truth.
Oh, no. My friends will sit me the fuck down and be like, bitch, what are you doing? And I love that. Yeah. And I will do the same.
I'm an interloper. I always will intervene. Always.
Yeah.
Well, our first question comes from Sherry. This one's a little confusing, but stick with it.
Is it Sherry Shepherd?
Okay.
It is Sherry Shepherd.
Okay, because she just posted a clip of me talking about me not washing my legs with Kevin Hart on her show, and then invited me for a collab. I'm like, no, I don't think so, bitch.
You don't wash your legs?
I don't wash my legs in the shower.
Do you?
I mean, why are my legs dirty? They're not. They're covered up all day. And when I wash my hair, the shampoo and the conditioner falls down my whole body and washes out. I get in my shower. I wash my Pikachu. I wash my asshole. I wash under my arms, and then I wash my butt, like the cheeks. So because I don't want to get any eczema.
I see what you're saying there, and I can't say that like 100% I'm washing of the times I'm washing my legs, but I'd say like 50%.
If my legs are dirty, if there's dirt on them, I will wash them. But they're not. There's not ever dirt. My legs are never exposed. They're covered all day long. Like, what am I washing them for?
Cody, are you running around New York City with shorts on? That is the real question. Then you have to wash your legs.
So yes, so I haven't been wearing a lot of pants. So yeah, I wear shorts as much as I possibly
Well, then
can.
you should be
so.
washing your legs.
You gotta scrub it.
Yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah.
Even though you're not, you should be.
Yeah. But I do somewhat agree that the soap will trickle down and get onto the legs. It's not a full scrub.
Like I
but
go, if
you're
there's a
good.
crevice that I need to get into, then I will go there with the soap and the water. But the legs are out. My legs are out. I don't have to get in behind my kneecap. Like there's nothing funky.
Yeah, but if you don't wash your feet, nobody can put their foot in your mouth, your feet in their mouth.
Well, that's fine. And by the way, the water, the soap, and everything lands on my feet too, right before it goes down the drain. So those are I feel like are clean.
They're good. They're really clean.
Yeah.
Because my telltale sign, if someone likes you and while you're fucking, if they put your feet in their mouth, then they're very into you.
Definitely, or they have a foot fetish.
Or they have a foot fetish.
But I don't
I'm gonna
really
go with
need anyone to be
the
sucking
trier.
my foot. You know what I mean? There's
No, I
so
don't
many
need
other
it. I
things
don't need
to
it.
suck
But
on.
like, from time to time, I'm like, hey, okay, this works. I'm here for it. Go off.
Yeah. I kind of have that attitude too. Like if you want to do it, but if you do it, like if it is a fetishy thing, I'm not into it. Like if it happens every time, then no. It has to be like sporadic.
One time, we haven't even gotten to the question. I'm sorry.
please.
Should I
That's
shut up?
okay. Continue.
No, there was one time I was at this party in Fire Island and this guy asked me, he definitely had a foot fetish. He was like, can I just massage your feet? And I was like, you know what? Go for it. And
well,
it was
obviously.
an incredible massage.
Of course. And why would anyone say no to a foot massage? I mean, I will take a foot
Exactly.
massage from someone from ISIS. You know what I mean? I don't care who's giving me a foot massage. I love getting my feet rubbed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question?
Catherine, we're ready.
Great.
Question, sorry.
So back to Sherry. She says, Dear Chelsea, I have an ethical dilemma that I'm hoping you can give me advice on what I should do. Within my group of friends, there are two couples with a messy situation. Let's call them couple A and couple B. I'm close friends with all of them, especially the wife from each couple. Both couples have young kids. The husband from couple A recently confided in us that his wife has been having an on-again, off-again affair with husband B for over 10 years.
Oh.
Husband A confronted husband B about their affair, and he admitted it too.
Great.
Husband A is devastated and heartbroken. He hasn't made any decisions yet about what he's going to do. He feels that coming out with this and telling wife B will ultimately destroy two families. As far as I know, my husband and I are the only other people who know about the affair, and I feel terrible that I know this information, but I haven't told my friend, wife B, about what her husband has been up to. What do I do? Do I tell wife B or leave it up to husband A to decide? This is such a difficult position to be in, and I wish I didn't know this information. If I keep it to myself, how can I continue my friendship with wife B? To make matters worse, this isn't the first time I've heard that husband B has been unfaithful, but in the past, I kept it to myself because I didn't know for sure, and I figured that saying something to wife B would more than likely ruin our friendship because she would ultimately believe her husband because he talks for a living and can be very convincing and influential. What do I do? Sherry.
My position on this constantly changes. Depending on the set of circumstances and depending on the feedback we've gotten from callers who've called in with similar problems. Cody, why don't you go first and give your advice on this situation?
Wow. First of all, the question felt like a fucking SAT question. I was like,
Hey,
trying to
listen,
keep up
just be happy
with
she fucking divvied them up to couple A and B. The other
with
day,
all
I
the
tried to dealing with
variables.
36 cousins, a nephew, and an aunt, and a priest. I was like, what? I can't follow the story.
They should honestly just be in a polycule because they're halfway there to all having sex with each other. They honestly need to reframe their idea of like, I don't think monogamy is for everybody. And so maybe they want to explore some form of ethical non-monogamy. But that's really on them to decide what they're doing with the mess. If I were the friend, I would kind of stay out of it because you already know the thesis. Like husband B is cheating on wife B and she's not going to believe you if you say it. So it's going to ruin your friendship anyways. I would stay the fuck out of it until it all comes out because everything dark comes to the light one way or the other.
I would agree. I'm going to say that sometimes I say tell on them, like I want people to, but for this situation, I would say it sounds like it's about to come out anyway.
Yeah.
Like everyone, all the chips are falling and like not into place, out of place. Like everyone's going to kind of get the situation soon. And it's not your responsibility. It sounds messy. And if it's been going on for 10 years, that's a whole other level of unethical non-monogamy. I like what you said, ethical non-monogamy, because that's important. You can have that if you're ethical about it and honest, but that's not what's going on here. Especially if that guy's a talker, like you don't want to ruin your relationship with your friend. I think it's best to just let the chips fall where they may, and then you can get in there after and be like, listen, I was in a really uncomfortable situation and I didn't know if you knew, and all of that stuff. I didn't want to get involved in it because it was very confusing. But yeah, I say stay out of it.
Yeah, I think a postmortem when everything hits the fan, she can then come to the friend and be like, "Hey, girl, like I did know this, but this is why it was complicated. I love you. I'm here for you. Let me help you through this."
Yeah. Are you a monogamist, Cody?
I am not. I was going to say, I, as someone who has cheated on boyfriends, I feel like the way to go is non-monogamy. But I am a firm believer that monogamy does need to be, at least for me, needs to be the foundation at first in the relationship. But as the years go on, like I don't think I could only sleep with one person for the rest of my life. I know that I can't, but I don't want to be polyamorous. I couldn't have a relationship with multiple people, just fucking.
Yeah, I don't know who put this monogamy into our heads to begin with. It's too much. It's just very antiquated. It's starting to feel, even though I'm a monogamist, like when I'm with someone, I'm with them. I can totally see why it doesn't make any sense for long periods of time. Maybe 5-year, 10-year intervals. Even 10 years sounds like too long.
That's long.
But some people really do love monogamy. So
no, and for the people that love it, go for it, babe. I just know in my soul, it's not for me.
Yeah, it's like I know in my soul that I wasn't meant to be someone's wife or mother.
Exactly.
Like no regrets. In fact, every time I think about it, like the fact that I don't have a child or the fact that I don't have a partner, I'm just so grateful. Like I'm like, oh, this is so much nicer.
So also like being married or like in a long-term committed relationship is not your vibe either.
I don't want to be married. No
legal status, but you can be with someone maybe for the rest of your life. Maybe,
but let's be reasonable. I mean,
okay.
It's doubtful.
Fair.
I
love people who know what they want, and that's the perfect way to be.
Yeah, I like to be stimulated. So to be stimulated usually requires a newness.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. Well, our next question, Brad, do we have both Kelly and Brittany on the line?
Oh,
awesome.
They're
here. So we'll start with Kelly. Her subject line is how to lose weight without quote unquote compliments. Dear Chelsea, bottom line up front, I'm about to go on weight loss medication, but I don't want people close to me to comment on my body changes. How do I let people know this without sounding cunty? For context, for the past 2 years, my doctors and I have been trying to figure out why my body won't respond to eating responsibly and consistently attending a spin gym for about 12 of those months. This summer, she and my endocrinologist diagnosed me with PCOS, and one of the symptoms is weight gain. We decided to try metformin and tweak my eating habits and exercise routine and regroup in December. Well, it's coming decision time and nothing has changed, so it's time to pivot to an injectable. From ages 13 to 27-ish, I struggled with bulimia, trendy diets, obsessive workouts that made me a slave to the gym for hours a day while tracking every gram of macros across every piece of food, among other disordered eating behaviors. After years of therapy, I'm now at my heaviest weight, but healthiest mental state. I'm a firm believer in body neutrality. However, I feel my body just isn't meant to carry this much weight in this form, and I'm uncomfortable and know my body chemistry is just not operating correctly. Throughout my weight fluctuations, the one thing that has been consistent is that my family praises me when I'm in a smaller body. I understand this is a cultural thing and they have the best intentions. I also know I have done the work to deal with how I perceive myself, but I worry that those around me will keep up with their old ways. Is there a way to get ahead of this or handle the quote-unquote compliments when I know they mean well, but also feel they could be damaging to me? Thank you for all the positive energy, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
Hello.
I don't know the answer to this. I don't know how you get people to not comment on your weight because it's so like if you have a history with your family, that's one thing. You can have a conversation with them and explain to them what's happening and how you don't think it's healthy for your mental health to hear their feedback about your physicality all the time. This is Cody Rigsby, by the way.
I noticed, yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
I
I feels like, okay, are you going to have that? Is it going to have a deleterious impact on you you if regular people are commenting on your weight? Because it's a very hard thing for people not to do. Like,
No, I know that. No, it's my family, and they're not great at taking those types of conversations. Like, case in point, freshman year of college, I lost like 40 pounds, and my aunt, who's been like a pseudo grandmother to me my entire life, like was like called me over and was just like, Kelly, you look wonderful. I'm so proud of you, and this, that, and the other thing. And like, that's where most of my compliments come from my family.
May I take a stab at this?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Well, first of all, I commend you on like you being in the right place for your own journey, because you seem really grounded in like, this is for my health, this is for my mental health, this is for me to feel confident, this is for me to feel like my best. And I think that is the best mentality to have, especially around weight loss or working out. Like, our bodies are only going to look a certain way for a certain time. They're going to fluctuate, they're going to change, and we don't have control over that. So I think that's a great mental space. That being said, also, we can't control other people's actions. We're not going to be able to control the compliments that they give us. But I think that you can start to reframe those physical comments into a space of, if someone's like, hey, you look great, Kelly, since you lost weight, you're like, thank you. I think just saying thank you to any compliment is fine. You could also take lead on the conversation of being like, thank you. But honestly, I feel amazing, and I've never felt better, and I'm really happy, and that's the thing that you want to get across to them, is just the way you feel, and just taking charge of the narrative, and know you can't control anybody's whatever the fuck they're gonna say.
I do think there's a little bit of room for some teaching here. I think if there are certain family members you're worried about kind of like really hitting the like, oh, you look so skinny stuff hard, I think it's okay to like just address that with them. Like, I'm making some changes with my doctors for my health. And like, I just, I would so appreciate like not commenting on my body. Or if someone does bring it up saying like, thank you so much, I know you mean well. But I'm the same person in a larger or a smaller body. So thanks for letting me know, but I'm feeling really happy. And, like Cody said, going into like, I'm feeling happy about this XYZ in my life. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a body thing. It can be something that's just like something you're doing that's making you feel better in your life.
But I also think it wouldn't be like if you could send an email to, like, okay, if your family doesn't respond well to things, if you wrote a thoughtful email to your family and said, listen, I'm on this like weight loss journey. The times where I have lost weight and have heard comments from you guys, which I know you are, giving me, or compliments about how I look good when I lose weight or when I've dropped 40 pounds. You can give specific examples about your freshman year in college. The comments, I know you mean well, but those kind of comments and getting rewarded for having a smaller body haven't helped. So moving forward, it would really mean the world to me if we could just keep the comments to yourself about me and any sort of weight loss or weight gain I have. I need to do this for my own mental health, and this is something that's really important to me. And as people who love me, I can only imagine that you want to support that.
Yeah. Do we still have
Kelly? That sounds doable. Like,
yeah.
It's definitely, they're definitely, my family's not the type of people that you can have that kind of conversation in person with. So
write
type of like,
write it in an email. Let them all talk about it together and be like, oh, did you get the email? Like, let them reflect and actually digest what you're saying. It's not unreasonable. And once they know that it has that impact on you, they are going to think twice about making those comments. And you can say, we're in a different time. It's not really appropriate to be making these comments. And I'm having my own, like, I'm feeling so good about myself. I just want to keep feeling good about myself. And those kind of comments are not helpful for me.
Okay. No, I like the sounds of that. I guess I'm just like, I'm just nervous for, sounding like pretentious. And part of me is like, why?
But you're not being pretentious. You're being protective of yourself. That's what,
that's on them,
you're being self-empowering. There's nothing pretentious. Forget about your family and where they're from. This is about you and where you're from and where you're going. Like, there's nothing pretentious about that. That's actually being really upfront and honest, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's creating a boundary, communicating that boundary, and telling people to, not cross it.
Yeah, and I think like when people do, because you will have people who cross that boundary, even if you've communicated with them, having that patience and being like, thanks, like this isn't really because I'm doing all these different things. This is because I'm treating the PCOS that, caused some of this weight gain and that sort of thing. I'm working with my doctors and getting good treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also do some of the work that Cody mentioned about like, taking those comments and kind of having them turn into a different comment in your head. You know what I mean? Like you really can't control what other people are going to say or how they're going to react. So you have to kind of figure out the way that you're going to be able to digest them in a different way instead of having it make you feel like uncomfortable. There's a way you can kind of empower yourself with those comments and be like, okay, I'm going to take that. And this is what I know that they meant to say or that they wanted me to feel. So I am going to choose to feel that way, even though it's an annoying thing to keep hearing. But don't be afraid of putting up boundaries. Like that's what we're lacking.
Yeah.
Especially as women.
Oh, yes. Certainly with my family. We're grossly close. So
yeah. Okay. Well, good. Put together an email, compose it, take your time to write it. And I guarantee you'll be surprised by the results.
Yeah.
Or the response, I mean.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kelly.
Thanks, you.
Kelly.
Bye, Kelly.
Bye. Have a good one.
I think that's such a good question, too, because, we don't necessarily know what people's backstories are, whether they have a condition that's causing weight gain. Maybe they were depressed and lost 50 pounds. I think it's a good teaching moment to have with her family.
Yeah, I was in Mallorca this summer, and this restaurant that I go to a lot, there was a server. And from the beginning, I went in June and then I went back in September. And when I went back in September, she had lost like 50 pounds. And she was never heavy to begin with. She was very muscular and like very healthy. And I didn't say anything because I knew better than to say anything.
Right.
And she said something and she was like, oh my God, look at me. I'm wasting away. And I go, oh my gosh, I know. You look amazing. Like, and she goes, no, I've lost weight because of stress. And I was like, oh shit. I just fucked up. We're
just learning.
You look terrible. I don't know. I did, and she wasn't happy about the weight loss, but I knew enough not to bring it up. But when she brought it up, I should have been like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Plus we were speaking Spanish, so that always goes
you never know how someone's going to interpret it. It's like when people say I look so skinny, I'm like, bitch, what? I don't want to look skinny. I want to look like a muscular man. So it's like it gets fucked up in your head.
Yeah. We've been talking a lot about that lately, about like not talking about like skinny, but talking about strong.
Strong.
We like strong.
Yes.
Fit and
Agreed.
strong.
Yes. Well, our next question comes from Brittany, and she is seeking some fitness motivation advice.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. She says, Dear Chelsea.
Is it Britney Spears?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm writing in for some motivation on how to get into a better exercise routine and routines in general. I recently got married, and before the wedding, I was able to motivate myself to eat clean and exercise by wanting to look amazing in my wedding gown, which I killed it. Now I'm several months post-wedding, and I can't get motivated to do anything unless there's a staunch deadline. My wedding guest thank you cards, I still haven't finished writing, and overall, I just prefer to laze around than start any of my home improvement projects. My partner is also trying to get into a gym routine, but oftentimes our preferred time to work out does not align. Pre-wedding, I was involved with a spin class that I loved, which, by the way, like both of these ones that mentioned spin, it was like kind of just a fluke, nice little thing there. So some serendipity. But the instructor moved away and the gym has not hired a replacement. Lastly, I cannot seem for the life of me to wake up early for my own enjoyment, such as to meditate or write in a gratitude journal. I wake up with barely enough time to prepare for my workday and always seem to rush out the door 5 minutes late. It just seems like an overall lack of diligence and structure. Do you have any tools or advice that might help me in my journey? Sincerely, a very tired person, Brittany.
Brittany?
Hi, Brittany.
Hi, Brittany. I love the way you spell it, by the way.
Thank you. I'll let my mom know.
Okay.
Brittany, why are you so tired?
I don't know. That's the thing. And I have energy throughout the day, but when it comes to the motivation in the morning to get started, or the motivation after I've been working 7.5 hours, I don't have it in me to, like, I make excuses for myself as to why I don't want to wake up whenever my first alarm goes off, or I end up, after work, I just don't want to stop. I don't want to stop at the gym. I want to get home. I want to cook dinner. I want to chill in my PJs and watch TV. And I really want some I want to see these changes in theory, but the action is just, I've had a hard time with the motivation to get there.
Do you feel like you're getting enough sleep, or you feel like you're not sleeping enough also?
I feel like in general, once I get going, I'm awake. So I don't feel like I'm overall like tired during the day. It's just
Okay.
when it gets to about 10:30, I'm done.
Do you also do you work at an office, or do you work from home? Like, do you have the ability to like go work out in the middle of the day? Maybe since you have more energy throughout the day?
So my work day is generally, so I get to work at 7:30. I do go into the office most days of the week. I do have some flexibility to work from home. But I generally at work do not have any, I try to limit distractions as much as possible. So
So I think it's like, for me, it's about building habits that you're going to do regardless of when it's comfortable or convenient, and just putting those into your day or week so that they're so consistent that you show up when you don't want to. If you have more energy throughout the day and you have the possibility of working, even if it's just 2 days a week from home, and you are already getting dressed in like athleisure, you can pump from your meeting and then work out from home, like in some body with body weight, and you're not taking too much time away from your work, and at least you're getting in a few workouts a week. I feel like if you're already setting your goal on this mountain of like, I got to work out every day, you're already going to set yourself up for failure. So I think finding some opportunities where you could work out 20 to 30 minutes, even if it's 2 to 3 times a week, maybe it's the 2 days you work from home, and one, like maybe it's Saturday or Sunday, and maybe you and your husband could work out on the weekend together since you're both off, and that might be something fun that you could do. And don't let the workout have to be like a chore or a task. Maybe you guys can go for a hike or a walk. Maybe you can just do something that's fun. I don't know if you like to dance, like do dance cardio. Do something that brings you a little bit of joy, even as you make it a task.
And I would also say just get in the habit of like the exercise lends itself to your life in multiple ways. It's not just about the exercise. It's about your mental clarity. It's about getting rid of any cortisol. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to overdo it, but you do want to exert yourself to a degree every day. Like, I would say to get up every morning and just walk for 20 minutes. Go power walking outside your neighborhood for 20 minutes, no matter what. You know what I mean? So that your body is moving, your body is getting energized, and you're like creating more energy for yourself throughout the day. Like, exercise is so related. If I don't exercise, I have no energy. That's why you have no energy. You know, if I go for 3 or 4 days without working out, I feel it. Even when I'm hungover or I've just been on a flight and I've been performing, I always get up and make myself sweat a little because I just makes me feel so much better and have so much more mental clarity. So I would try to incorporate, like, as far as working out and doing a workout with weights and stuff, or, you know, you can get the Peloton app, you know, and do that at your house.
Yeah,
you don't,
that's free.
you
Right?
don't
I was going to shamelessly plug that.
I know. Well, that's why I had to do it for you.
Your cycling instructor
I'm a cycling instructor on Peloton now too. That was our big announcement for today. I'm going to announce that. No, I'm not. I'm just joking. But if you do you can get the Peloton app and do these, like, they have 5-minute abs classes. They have 10-minute. You can do 40 minutes Pilates. You can do, like, you just make a commitment and do it with your husband if you think that's a good partnership. Do you think that is, or would you rather exercise alone?
I think that it's potential. Like, there have been times intermittently that we've both woken up early and gone for a walk around our neighborhood together, and we do enjoy walking. But it's, for some reason, the mornings, my alarm clock will go off several times and I'll just keep snoozing it until I absolutely, like, have to get up and going. And typically, I think if I were to walk every morning, I'd have to get up at 5 and go. And I feel like that's a normal time for people to get up and go. But for some reason, in the mornings, my mind is just like, I have a hard time, I guess, in the mornings deciding that's a priority.
Right. But it is a priority because you're calling into a podcast to talk about it. So you're going to make it a priority. What do you use? What's that? Is that a green, like, exercise ball that's behind you?
It is.
Yeah. So fucking use it. I mean, first of all, what kind of caffeine do you take to get up in the morning? Do you drink caffeine?
I drink a cup of coffee about 20 minutes after I get up. I make sure I drink some water first, or at least a few sips of water before I go in on the coffee. But I do.
Okay, well, that's healthy. That's a healthy
girl.
habit.
Yeah.
But
It's a
why
great
do you
habit.
really have to wake up at 5 to exercise? What time do you have to be at work?
7:30.
So I try to get to work by 7:30. It
Okay.
usually ends up walking in around 7:45.
Sure.
With traffic and everything, but I try to leave my house by 6:45.
And then,
wow.
okay, well, that is pretty early. That's probably why you're fucking tired. I mean, most people go to work around 9 for an office job, and you get done at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m.
I typically try to leave work by 4:30.
Okay.
To try and skip some of the traffic, and then I'll get home usually around 5:30, 5:40.
I know for me, I have to work out in the mornings to really get it done. So it
Same.
really, you have to
Yeah.
kind of experiment with your personality, because it sounds schedule wise like it might be more prudent for you to get home from work and then go for a power walk around 5. It's the perfect time. It's before dinner. You know what I mean? You get home, go for a walk, reflect on the day's activities, and then figure out a workout that you could do like 2 or 3 days a week. But I think it's important, health wise, to keep your body moving every single day. You know what I mean? And then it becomes kind of addictive in a great way. Like you don't want to be exercising for 3 hours a day, and no one's suggesting that, but you need to pick a time and commit to whatever time you think it's going to be more feasible to actually follow through. And maybe that is when you get home from work. If it's not during your lunch break, or if it's not at 5 in the morning, it's dark at 5 in the morning. So like, I can understand why that would be hard to get up and start exercising. So let's figure out what time makes the most sense for you. What time do you think that is?
Historically, I've definitely leaned towards, getting off work, stopping by the gym, doing whatever it is I do, whether it be a group workout class or, just an elliptical, stairmaster, whatever it may be. Like I used to be really good about doing that. And then I think just over the last few years, I've kind of lost my way in a gym. Like I don't necessarily know what I should be focusing on. I kind of walk in and I'm like, okay, what do I want to do today? And then I spend 20 minutes looking on Pinterest for workouts to do at the gym for this, muscle group. And then I end up, doing that for a while, and I feel really good about it. But I guess I haven't been successful in making that an weekly, like, scheduled thing. And
Okay, well, you're going to do that now. You're going to write it down that you're going to exercise. You're going to do a workout 3 times a week, and you're going to do a nice walk, whether it's at the gym, whether it's the elliptical. 3 times a week, you're going to do 20 minutes on an elliptical, on a treadmill, or a bike, whatever kind of cardio. And then 3 times a week, and they could be on the same day or whatever, you're going to do a class. You could do a Pilates class. You could do weight training class. You write it down. I am going to commit to this, and every single morning you're writing it down and keeping a diary of what you're doing so that you're accountable. And if your husband decides to come along for the ride or can join you in any of those activities, great. But I think you should go from work, commit to 3 days a week that you're going to leave work and go straight to the gym.
And a lot of gyms have like
you don't even
programs.
have to spend a whole hour there. You can go there, jump on the elliptical for 20 minutes,
20 minutes.
and leave. Just get into the habit of forming a habit.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of gyms have either an app or a program where they'll like give you a list of like, here's what you do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And it's like 20 minutes of maybe strength exercises on different machines or using free weights. And like, it's all done for you. Like, you don't have to think about anything. So ask at your gym and see if they have that. I also
will
think
do that.
a workout buddy might be helpful here too, because your husband might not be the workout buddy you need. You might need somebody like, if I don't show up, so-and-so is going to be like sitting there pissed at me. So like, I got to get my ass over there.
Well, a workout buddy though, and like especially if it's your husband, like it can be a double-edged sword. Like it might motivate you, but it also will be, if he's not in the mood and he's like, let's skip today, you're going to be susceptible to falling into that, habit. So I try to be on your own journey.
Yeah, absolutely. He and I have definitely gone back and forth, like, hey, let's do this, and he'll be like, I don't feel like it.
Yeah,
And
I think
so
it's got to be not the
okay, like,
husband.
Yeah.
He and
You
I
have to
are
Put
take-
your mask on first.
Also, the exercise will permeate into your life in other ways. You're going to finish your thank you cards. You're going to get all that shit together because you're going to have.
I've done that, actually. I did finish my thank you cards,
great.
and just got them mailed out this week. So I'm really proud of that. But
Excellent.
also, like, kind of kicking myself in the ass because it took me 7 months. But
That's okay. You have a year.
Doesn't matter.
So you are several months ahead. You're
you
great.
got it done, okay? And also, I want you to write the sentence down to yourself. Write it down. I am a powerful, strong woman, and I am going to become more powerful and more strong.
yes.
Okay? And that's what you're going to do. And write down your schedule for the week, what you're going to do. And you're going to be able to take days off and you're going to be able to get motivated. But write down the days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to the gym straight from work, even if it's for a half an hour. You're going to just get into the habit of forming a habit. It's as simple as that. And once you do that for 3 weeks, you're going to want to keep doing it. And you're going to want to get stronger and you're going to see the result and you're going to feel healthier and you're going to feel more motivated and it's all going to work out. So this is your pep talk, okay?
Thank you so much, Chelsea.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks,
And
Brittany.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you all so much.
Thanks.
I like these questions.
Cutie.
I'm so lazy. I can't get out of bed. What do I do? Get out of bed.
Get out of bed.
Do you know how grateful we are able to be able-bodied and have the
Yes.
ability to move our bodies? Like, we have to remember that not everybody can do that. You know, you have full utilization of your body. You better be fucking using it.
And it only gets more limited the older you get. Like,
Yeah,
shit
and
just
laziness
pops up.
begets more laziness. You know, if
Yeah.
you're lazy
But
and
I'm
you
not-
don't, yeah. I mean, I don't like to call anyone lazy, but some people just are.
Yeah.
You know, and then what?
Well, and on that note, we can take a little break and come back
okay.
to wrap up.
Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back with Cody Rigsby.
TV magic.
So you can catch Cody's podcast, which
Tactful pettiness.
is Tactful Pettiness, anywhere you get your podcast, and you can hear him talk about a bevy of different things. Cody, it was a delight to meet you. I'm sure I'll
It was
run
an
into you
honor to
somewhere
meet you.
or somewhere, somehow, sometime.
I hope so. I hope so.
All right. And where can people find you on socials and stuff, Cody?
At Cody Rigsby on Instagram, at Cody_Rigsby on TikTok, because some bitch took my name before I could get it. But
Ugh.
that's fine.
What a bitch. Okay.
Thanks, Cody.
Thank you, Cody. Have a great
Thanks,
day.
friends. Bye,
Bye.
booze.